Salut! In this video, you will build your skills on questions. Understanding the different types of questions you can come across, but as importantly, helping you recognize them so you are able to give the appropriate answer. I didn't plan on asking the usual question, qu'est-ce que c'est, this time, as we all understand what is a question. But it will be actually a nice one to start with. So, as you will all know, thanks to me repeating it several times, qu'est-ce que c'est means what is it? It is what I call a what question, to which you need to answer what it is you have been asked for. Let's take a look at the example on your downloadable document. If we take tu manges, which means you eat or you're eating. If I want to ask what are you eating, I will just do so by putting the structure qu'est-ce que before tu manges, making the question qu'est-ce que tu manges, or what are you eating, what do you eat in English. In this way, qu'est-ce que is replacing your what in your question in English, as opposed to a est-ce que question on the right-hand side of your document, which will replace the do for do you eat or the are for are you eating. Attention, est-ce que does not mean anything and it can't therefore be translated by any word. It is just a structure allowing you to ask questions, just like in qu'est-ce que, the QU corresponds to what, but the long est-ce que is just the structure allowing you to ask a question. You can't really translate it by anything. Now, when someone is asking what you are eating or what are you eating, they are expecting you to answer mentioning what you are eating. Just like in French, a qu'est-ce que question will anticipate a what answer, when a est-ce que question will require a yes or a no answer before detailing it. Therefore, if I ask you qu'est-ce que tu manges, I expect to know what you are eating, such as an apple, une pomme, un rôti, a roast, or again a piece of cake, une part de gâteau. But if I ask you est-ce que tu manges une part de gâteau, then I am waiting for you to say oui, je mange une part de gâteau. Yes, I am eating a piece of cake. Or non, je ne mange pas de part de gâteau. No, I am not eating a piece of cake. So, qu'est-ce que and est-ce que are quite straightforward, but you need to remember which one is which one. And que is what? You know this. So, qu'est-ce que question is a what question. Voilà. Now, let's have a look at some question words like when, why, where, what. I have detailed them in page 2 of your downloadable document of this question lesson. And as you will see, how is comment, but how much and how many will be combien. We only have one equivalent in French, so whether you speak about something you can or you can't count, it will be combien. Where will be où, with a U with an accent to differentiate it from the ou or you, which is or in English. So ou, o, u accent is where. Why will be pourquoi, and when will be quand. We also have who, which will be qui, Q-U-I, and of course what, which will be Q-U-E, as we've explained earlier. But attention, what can be translated in a lot of different ways, depending on the sentence. For example, if you say, what time is it? We in French ask the question, what is the hour? Or which hour is it, basically? So which become a very useful word to start a question. I will spend a little bit of time on this in another part of the lesson, as this is quite important. When asking question in English, did you notice that very often we swap the subject, the sujet, and the verb, the action word. We swap them around. For example, you are will become are you. And once again, we will follow the same rule in French. Tu es, which is you are, will become es-tu, are you. We just put a little hyphen in between the two words swapped. In French, we will keep this logic for all our questions when using the question words detailed in page 2, but not when using the qu'est-ce que or the est-ce que. In this case, you will just write the question as if it was normal. So you'll have qu'est-ce que plus the normal sentence. In such a way, you'll have for tu fais, you'll have qu'est-ce que tu fais, and not qu'est-ce que fais-tu. Or, est-ce que tu fais, and not est-ce que fais-tu. But with the question word, you should do the swap. Que fais-tu? Which is another way of asking, what are you doing? Comment fais-tu? Or how are you doing? Pourquoi fais-tu? Why are you doing? In this last question, you will notice that for why are you doing, we in French do not translate are. And likewise, if you say, why do you do such and such, we won't translate do. In English, do, are, and have are sometimes used as auxiliary, which means we need them to make the sentence grammatically correct, but they do not mean anything and therefore can't be translated. Does that make sense? Okay, for example, if I say I like apples or I do like apples, the do in the second sentence is only here to make the point, but it doesn't need to be here. And in French, we just won't have any equivalence, so we won't translate it. And when you need to translate into French, you will say, j'aime les pommes. That's it, no other alternative. So it is the same with question. Why do you do this? Is literally why you do this. And we will choose this second version in French to translate it. And that will be pourquoi fais-tu ça? So when you are asked to translate, always stop and take your time to decide if yes or no you need to translate this is, are, do, or even have. As this will misguide you and you can get a little bit confused. Okay? So voila, this is it for now. Please have a look at the document on how to ask questions in two verb structures and the other one on the quel and quel feminine questions. So, French question won't have any secret for you anymore. Test yourself on the quizzes and choose the part you want to assess yourself on before listening to the other videos if you prefer. Bravo, merci et à tout de suite.